I still can't believe you're marrying Alina. My coworker laughed, clapping my back. Man, you hit the jackpot. I forced a smile. Yeah, lucky me. Lucky. That word stuck like a thorn. Everyone thought I was the blessed one, the ordinary guy who caught the CEO. They didn't know the truth. I hadn't proposed. She had. I remembered that night clearly. Marry me, Alina had said flatly, eyes cold behind her wine glass. It makes sense. You're dependable, easy, no scandals, no surprises. Perfect for my image. I blinked. That's not exactly romantic. Her lips curved, but it wasn't a smile. Romance fades. Stability doesn't. You'll agree, won't you? I nodded back then because saying no felt impossible. But in that moment, something inside me cracked. At dinner with her friends, weeks later, humiliation deepened. He's adorable, one of them said, glancing at me like I was a pet. Alina smirked. Adorable, yes. Ambitious? No, but that's why he's safe. He won't run off chasing bigger things. He's content where he is. Laughter circled the table. I stared at my plate, heat rising to my ears. I wanted to speak, to defend myself, but my voice stayed trapped. I forced a chuckle instead, the perfect fool. When we left, I finally whispered, "You didn't have to say that." She raised a brow. Say what? The truth. Don't sulk. Doesn't suit you. Her words stung sharper than the laughter. People think I'm some kind of accessory, I muttered. She slipped her arm through mine. Her perfume strong, her voice softer, but still edged. That's exactly what you are for now. You make me look grounded. Isn't that enough? I swallowed hard. Enough for you, maybe. Her eyes narrowed. Careful. Don't start growing teeth. The car ride home was silent, except for my thoughts, twisting and coiling. I replayed every word, every laugh, every glance. To them, I wasn't a man. I was a prop in her perfect empire. Later that night, lying awake beside her, I stared at the ceiling. She chose me because I was safe, I whispered to myself. Not because I was loved, the weight pressed down, heavier than her hand resting casually on my chest. I thought of what my coworker said, jackpot. If only he knew the truth. Alina shifted in her sleep, murmuring something I couldn't catch. I studied her face, the woman everyone admired, the woman who reduced me to nothing more than stability. A bitter laugh escaped me, too quiet to wake her. Lucky me, I whispered again. But this time, it didn't sound like luck at all. Smile, Alina whispered as we stepped into the ballroom. I forced one. Like this? Wider, she said, eyes scanning the crowd. You look half dead. I chuckled weakly. Maybe because I am. Her nails pressed into my arm. Don't embarrass me tonight. Investors are watching. To everyone else, she was dazzling, laughing gracefully, shaking hands, answering compliments with practiced warmth. But when she leaned close to me, her voice turned sharp. Fix your tie. It's crooked. I adjusted it. You tied it yourself. Then straighten your posture, she hissed. You slouch like a clerk, not a partner. Her words sliced. But I stayed silent. Mr. Hale, one man said, approaching me. Lucky man? Having Alina? I smiled. Yeah, lucky. When he walked away, I whispered that word again. What word? She asked lucky. She didn't even look at me. You should be grateful people think that. Without me, you'd be invisible. I swallowed hard. Invisible's starting to sound peaceful. Her head snapped toward me. Don't start. Later in the car, I finally spoke. Do you ever get tired? Of what? She asked, pretending. Smiling for strangers, then tearing me apart in private. She scoffed. This is who I am. If you can't keep up, step aside. I leaned back, staring at the passing lights. You're different when it's just us, Calder. Her lips curved faintly. Better to be feared than forgotten. That's not love. Love. She laughed softly. You're still clinging to fairy tales. Grow up. This is reality. Her words stung, but I bit them down. Inside, I repeated them, carving them into memory. Back at home, she tossed her heels aside. "Wear the navy suit tomorrow," she ordered. "The gray one makes you look weak," I muttered. I thought I was supposed to be safe, not strong. She glanced over her shoulder. "Don't twist my words. Just do as I say." I studied her face in the dim light. The flawless mask was gone, her eyes sharp, lips tight, no trace of the charm she showed the world. This was the Alina no one else saw. "Why me?" I asked quietly. She frowned. "What? Out of everyone, why choose me if all you do is tear me down?" Her answer was quick, cold. "Because you don't fight back. You're easy." The words landed like a slap. My jaw tightened, but I nodded slowly. "Easy," I repeated. She turned away, already done with the conversation. Lying in bed later, I stared into the dark. I replayed every insult, every command, every moment her mask slipped. She thought I was blind. She thought I was harmless, but I was listening, collecting, changing. And one day, I promised myself she would see the man behind my silence. "Don't wait up," Alina said, adjusting her earrings in the mirror. I frowned. "Where are you going?" "Dinner. Adrian invited me." "Important networking." I checked the date on my phone. "You know what today is, right?" She glanced at me briefly. "Tuesday." "My birthday," I said quietly. Her lipstick brush froze, then she shrugged. "We'll celebrate later. Business first." I forced a laugh. "Of course. What was I thinking? Silly me, expecting cake." She rolled her eyes. "Don't guilt-trip me. Be mature. This dinner matters. More than me?" "Don't start," she snapped, grabbing her purse. "I'll be late." Order food. The door shut behind her, leaving silence. I sat at the table, staring at the empty chair across from me. My birthday. The day my fiancé chose another man's company over mine, the hours dragged until my phone buzzed. "Mia. Happy birthday, stranger." Her cheerful voice rang. I smiled for the first time that day. "You remembered, of course I did. I even baked a cake." "Well, tried. It collapsed in the oven." "Don't laugh," I chuckled. "Still better than nothing." "So, what did Alina do? Big surprise party? Expensive gift?" I hesitated. "She's busy, busy." Her tone dropped. "On your birthday? Business dinner? With who?" "Adrian." There was silence before she spoke again, softer. "And you're okay with that?" I exhaled. "Do I sound okay?" "No," she admitted. "You sound tired. You used to be the guy who made jokes out of everything." "What happened?" "Alina happened," I muttered. "You're not the same. Where's the boy who used to argue with teachers, who swore he'd never let anyone silence him?" I laughed bitterly. "He grew up. He learned silence keeps the peace." "Peace?" she asked. "Or chains?" Her words hit harder than I expected. I rubbed my face. "Maybe both," she softened. "You don't deserve this. You deserve someone who remembers the small things." "Like your birthday?" I stayed quiet, her voice filling the hollow space Alina left behind. "Listen," she said. "I can't give you cake through the phone, but I can remind you you're not invisible." "Happy birthday, idiot." I chuckled again, warmth spreading in my chest. "Thanks, Mia. Promise me one thing." She asked. "What?" "Don't lose yourself completely." I wanted to promise, but the words stuck. "Instead," I said, "I'll try." We talked until midnight, laughter slipping back into my voice, if only for a while. When we hung up, the silence returned, heavier than before. I sat alone, the glow of my phone screen fading, and thought of Alina at her dinner. Adrian probably toasting her, making her laugh the way I once did. My chest tightened. Not with sadness, but something darker. "She forgot my birthday," I whispered. "She chose him over me." The bitterness burned, sharper than any insult. I clenched my fists. I've been her fool long enough. For the first time, my thoughts weren't about pleasing her. They were about breaking free. About showing her the man she thought didn't exist. What if I'm not the weakling she believes I am? I asked the empty room. The silence answered, and in it, I felt something shift inside me. Not pain. Not despair, something sharper, stronger, something waiting to rise. Alina, the board isn't happy, I said carefully, watching her pace the living room. They're cowards, she snapped. Always whining about risks, as if growth comes without them. You don't, she cut me off. Don't pretend you understand business. I clenched my jaw. I'm just trying to help. Help. She laughed coldly. You can't even manage your own career. What could you possibly offer me? Her words dug deep, but I kept my voice calm. Sometimes listening is enough. She turned sharply. Listening won't save me from vultures waiting to see me fall. I stayed silent. But inside, her cracks were showing. Later that week, I overheard her call. Adrian's circling like a shark, one board member said. We need reassurance. You'll get it, Alina replied, her tone brittle. When she hung up, I asked, Trouble? Her glare could cut glass. Eavesdropping now? I heard voices. That's all. Then keep your ears shut. I don't need you meddling, I swallowed. I'm not your enemy. You're not my ally either, she said. Your background? Background? The words seared me. I smiled faintly to mask the fury twisting in my chest. That night, I tried again. Maybe you should rest. Stress won't help, she sneered. Don't lecture me. If you can't stand the heat, stay out of my way. I nodded slowly. Useless, right? She froze, then smirked. At least you're self-aware. I laughed softly, though rage boiled inside. Right? Self-aware. In bed, I stared at the ceiling while she typed furiously beside me. You don't stop, do you? I muttered. Empires don't sleep, she said. And emperors, they crush whoever stands in their way. Her certainty shook me not with admiration, but with something darker. Inside, my thoughts twisted. Crush me all you want, Alina. One day, you'll choke on the ashes of your empire. The next morning, I watched her dress for another meeting. You think they'll back you? I asked. They have no choice. Everyone has a choice. She shot me a glare. Not you. You'll always stand where I put you. I smiled thinly. If you say so. She didn't notice the steel in my voice. Later that day, Mia called. You sound tired, she said. Elena's fighting shadows, I replied. And you? I'm watching. Watching what? The cracks. She was quiet, then whispered, Be careful, okay? I forced a laugh. Always, but my mind kept replaying Elena's words. Useless. Background. Safe. I whispered to myself in the dark. One day, Elena, you'll beg for me to stand beside you. And then I smiled, bitter and cold. But I won't. I pushed the door open, half expecting Alina inside alone, finishing another late-night call. Instead, I froze. Her voice was low, breathless. Adrian, stop someone might, he laughed softly. You like the danger? My stomach turned. I should have left, but I didn't. Alina, he whispered, you belong with me, not him. Her reply shattered me. Maybe I already do. The words echoed like gunfire in my chest. I didn't gasp. I didn't storm in. I stood there, calm, as if my body refused to betray me with emotion, when their laughter died down. I stepped back, silent. Later, in the hallway, she called out, You're still awake? Yeah, I answered evenly. What were you doing? Thinking, I said. About us. She tilted her head. Us. Don't worry, I added with a faint smile. Nothing dramatic. She studied me. Maybe sensing something, maybe not. You're strange tonight, am I? I asked. Yes. Usually you're so transparent. I chuckled quietly. Not tonight, she shrugged. Well, good night then. Good night. The moment she left, my calmness hardened. The blade of betrayal was still buried deep, but instead of bleeding, I gripped the handle in the bathroom mirror. I whispered, "So that's who you chose." My reflection smirked back. The next morning at breakfast, she tapped her phone, barely glancing at me. "Another meeting?" I asked casually. "Busy day," she muttered. "With Adrian?" She stiffened. "Why would you say that?" "Just a thought." Her eyes narrowed. "Don't joke about him." "I wasn't joking," I replied. Silence stretched, then she scoffed. "You're paranoid, maybe." I sipped my coffee. "Or maybe I just see more than you think." Her fork clattered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I said softly. "Absolutely nothing." She glared, but I smiled, calm, unshaken. Inside, my thoughts coiled tighter. "Go on, Elena. Keep lying. Keep underestimating me." Later, Mia called again. "You sound different," she said. "I saw something," I answered. "What?" "Alina and Adrian?" Her gasp crackled through the phone. "Oh my God, what did you do?" "Nothing. Nothing." "Yes," I said with an eerie calm, "because that's where the power is." Silence. Mia hesitated. "You don't sound broken." "I'm not," I whispered. "I've never felt stronger." "Stronger?" "Yes. When you stop begging for love, you see the truth. And the truth is, I don't need her." The words tasted cold, but liberating. That night, Alina curled beside me in bed, as if nothing had happened. "You're quiet again," she said. "Am I?" "Yes. It's unsettling." I turned toward her, smiling faintly. "Maybe I'm learning." "Learning what?" "How to keep secrets," I said. She laughed uneasily. "You? You couldn't keep one if you tried." "Maybe you're right," I murmured. "Or maybe you don't know me at all." Her eyes lingered on me, searching, but I gave her nothing. No anger, no tears. Just stillness. Inside, though, I replayed Adrian's hand on her, her voice whispering back. "Maybe I already do." I whispered silently into the dark. "You won't see me weak again, ever, and for the first time." "Alina, I'm heading out." She didn't look up from her laptop. "Where?" "The gym." Her fingers froze mid-typing. "Since when do you care about that?" "Since now." Her laugh was sharp. "You'll quit after a week." "Maybe," I said, smiling. "Or maybe not." For the next hour, sweat burned through me, muscles screaming, lungs on fire. But pain felt like freedom. Every rep was a rebellion. Every drop of sweat whispered, "I am not yours anymore." When I came home, Alina eyed me with suspicion. "Seriously? You look ridiculous." I wiped my forehead with the towel. "Thanks." Motivation noted. "Don't be sarcastic," she snapped. "I'm not." "I appreciate it." She frowned, confused by my calm. The next day, I bought clothes she hadn't picked. A fitted shirt, a jacket I liked, not her choice. At breakfast, she noticed instantly. "What are you wearing?" "My clothes, they don't suit you. They suit me just fine." She scoffed. "You're trying too hard." "Maybe," I said lightly. "But trying is better than waiting for orders." Her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "Nothing." I sipped my coffee. "Just talking to myself." The shift was small, but I felt at the leash snapping, thread by thread. That night she tried again. "Cancel your afternoon." "I need you at the gala." "I can't," I replied. "You can't." Her voice dripped with disbelief. What could possibly be more important? My work? Work? Please. You don't even... I cut her off, smiling. "I do." You'll see her lips pressed into a thin line. "You're acting strange. Or maybe I'm acting like myself." She didn't answer, but her silence was louder than anger. In secret, I studied late into the night, sharpening skills she never thought I'd use. Numbers, strategies, contacts. I was building something she couldn't see, and that invisibility thrilled me. Mia noticed first. "You sound alive," she said on the phone. "Alive." I repeated, "Yes, like the old you, but darker." "Dark is good," I whispered. "It keeps me sharp." She hesitated. And Alina? She notices. She just doesn't understand yet. The next week, Alina confronted me again. Why are you on your phone all the time? Learning? Learning what? Things you wouldn't expect. Stop being cryptic. I smiled faintly. If I did, it wouldn't be fun. Her glare tightened. You're hiding something? Am I? Yes, I can feel it. Then maybe you should trust your instincts. Her breath caught, just for a second. That single flicker of uncertainty was sweeter than any victory. Later that evening, she tossed a magazine on the table. You think changing your wardrobe, lifting weights, and pretending to be busy makes you impressive? It doesn't. I leaned back, calm. Then why are you so bothered? Her eyes flashed. Because you're supposed to listen to me. Maybe I don't want to anymore. The silence stretched until she spat. You're nothing without me, I smiled. Then you should have nothing to worry about. Her jaw clenched, but she turned away. Inside, I laughed. My mind whispered, You're losing me, Alina, and you don't even know how fast. Every day after. I rehearsed scenarios, what I'd say when she tried to break me. How I'd flip every insult into quiet defiance. Wear the gray suit tonight? She ordered once. I like the navy, I replied calmly. Don't argue with me, I'm not. I'm choosing you're impossible. Or free, I said softly. Her eyes darkened, as though she sensed the empire she built around me cracking at night. While she slept, I whispered to the ceiling. Soon, you'll see who I really am. And for the first time, the voice inside me didn't sound weak. It sounded like power. Alina, I can't make the gala tonight. She turned sharply. What do you mean you can't? I have a meeting. A meeting. With who? I smiled faintly. Someone you don't need to know. Her eyes narrowed. You're lying then. Prove it. Her jaw tightened, but she said nothing. I walked away before she could snap. That became my new game, answers without answers. The next morning, she cornered me at breakfast. You didn't come home until midnight, correct? Where were you? Busy. She slammed her cup down. Stop playing with me. I'm not. I kept my voice even. I'm just living. Her stare burned holes through me. But silence was my weapon. Later, Adrian appeared at her office dinner. She leaned close to him, laughing louder than usual, making sure I noticed. So, Adrian thinks I should launch in Singapore, she said when we got home. Then listen to him, I replied. You don't care? Why should I? Her lips twitched, as if she wanted me jealous. I gave her nothing. One evening she asked, Are you avoiding me? No, I'm prioritizing myself. You're supposed to support me. I do. By not arguing, that's not support. It's absence. Maybe absence is better than obedience. Her silence said more than anger ever could. When Adrian's name slipped into her sentences more often, I let it hang. She wanted a reaction, but I offered none. Adrian invited me to Paris, she said casually. Enjoy the trip. Her eyes flickered, unsettled. That's all you have to say? Yes. You're infuriating. Thank you. Each word chipped away at her certainty. Meanwhile, Mia's voice grounded me. You sound different, she said over the phone. How so? Like you're finally steering the wheel. Feels good, I admitted. Be careful, she warned. Alina doesn't like losing. She's already losing, I whispered. Mia didn't push, just listened. That silence was more comforting than Elena's entire presence. Another night, Elena tried again. Why didn't you answer my calls? I was busy with what? Does it matter? Yes. No. Her fists clenched. You've changed. Or maybe I stopped pretending. She studied me, searching for cracks, but my calm left her powerless. The truth was simple. I no longer needed her approval. Every withheld answer, every canceled plan, every quiet smile rewrote the rules. For the first time, I felt the story wasn't hers to dictate. It was mine. I heard her heels before I saw her. Quick, uneven, almost frantic. Where have you been? Elena's voice cracked. At work, I said calmly. You didn't answer my calls. I was busy. She grabbed my sleeve. Something's happened. What? She shoved her phone at me, headlines blaring. Confidential documents leak from the erotic. Our stock dropped 20%, she whispered. The board's panicking. I scrolled slowly, letting the silence stretch. That's serious? Serious? Her laugh was hollow. It's catastrophic. And Adrian? I asked lightly. Her lips trembled. He hasn't returned my calls. I nodded once. Interesting. Interesting, she snapped. This is my company. I handed her phone back. Then fix it. She stared at me, stunned. You're supposed to be on my side. I am. Just not your puppet. Her breath hitched. Don't talk like that. Like what? Cold. Detached. I smiled faintly. Maybe that's who I am now. She shook her head. No, you're kind. You always support me. I did, I said softly. Until you taught me not to. Her hands clenched. I need you. I'm here. No, she said sharply. Not like this. I need you to tell me everything will be okay. I poured myself a glass of water. Will it? Say it. I met her eyes. You're smart, Alina. Figure it out. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Punishing me. I'm not. I'm just free. She stared at me, lips trembling. I didn't mean to hurt you. I let the silence sit. Please, she whispered. Everyone's turning on me. Adrian's gone. The board's questioning my leadership. You what? I'm scared. Hearing that word from her lips felt like watching a queen kneel. I'm still here, I said quietly, but I won't play the role you wrote for me. Her eyes filled with tears. Don't you understand? I can't do this alone. You chose to. I thought you'd always be beside. Me, you thought wrong. She reached for my hand. I'm asking you, please. I pulled back gently. You made me your puppet, Alina. Now watch me cut the strings. Her face went pale. Who are you? I almost laughed. Someone you created. You hate me. I don't, I said. I've just stopped loving the version of myself you built. She took a shaky step back. You're different. Yes. How long have you been planning this? I haven't. It just happened when I opened my eyes. Her voice broke. I'm begging you. You're not used to that, are you? No, she whispered. Then consider this your first. I walked past her, feeling her fear trail behind me like perfume. For the first time, her power felt small. Inside my head, the voice that once whispered weakness now spoke with icy clarity. This is your story now. Alina, the board wants a full explanation, I said, walking into the office. They don't understand. She screamed, pacing. They think I'm incompetent. You might be losing more than that, I replied calmly. What are you talking about? Her voice cracked. Adrian, I said softly. He's not your ally. She froze. What? I saw the emails, I continued. He positioned himself perfectly while you scrambled to cover leaks. Her hands trembled. You knew? I know a lot, I said, sipping my coffee. You betrayed me? She yelled, stepping closer. I smiled faintly. Betrayed? No, I simply stopped obeying. Stopped obeying. She repeated, eyes wide. After everything I did for you? I did nothing for you. You used me, I said, her face twisted in rage. How dare you? You thought I was weak, I interrupted softly. You never saw the strength of silence. Her knees buckled slightly. You've changed. Yes, I said quietly. And you haven't noticed until now. I need you. She screamed, grabbing my arm. I pulled back slowly. You don't. Not really. You needed control. Her hands fell to her sides. Then what have I done? You lost the board's trust, Alina. Adrian played you like a pawn. You didn't see it until it was too late. Her lips trembled. How? How did you know? I watch. I listen. I remember every word you spoke to me, every time you dismissed me. You're mocking me. No, I said softly. I'm showing you the truth. She pressed her hands to her face. I built everything and now, I said. You realize the empire you built can't stand without the people you underestimated. Her eyes flicked to mine, desperate, pleading. Please tell me what to do. I shook my head, smiling faintly. I won't. Her scream cut off, replaced by sobs. I won't be the crutch you lean on anymore, I said calmly. You made me your puppet, Lena. Now you see what happens when the strings are gone. Her shoulders shook, and I stayed silent. Let her see the void. Let her feel the emptiness where my compliance used to be. Do you hate me? She whispered. No, I replied softly. I just stopped needing you. She sank into a chair, hands covering her face. I can't believe this. You were supposed to be mine. I was yours in body only, I said. Not in mind. Not in spirit. You're smiling at my misery, she accused, her voice breaking. I chuckled softly. Not misery. Clarity. You thought I was weak. You never noticed the power in watching, waiting, staying silent. Her chest heaved and she looked at me, eyes full of despair. You'll learn, I whispered. Silence is stronger than screaming, Alina, and now you're alone. I turned and walked away, letting her collapse in the office that once symbolized her absolute control. Inside, you thought I was weak, Alina. You never saw the strength of silence. Alina, we need to talk. Her voice trembled, weaker than I expected. I didn't sit. I leaned against the doorway. Go ahead, she swallowed, looking anywhere but at me. I never loved you. I kept my expression neutral. I know, you were just convenient, safe, something I could control. And I asked softly. Her hands shook. And I underestimated you. I smiled faintly, letting the words hang. It happens, you don't understand. I lost everything, Adrian, the board's trust, even you. Maybe, I said, but I gained myself. Her eyes filled with tears. I see it now. The man you've become, confident, sharp, everything I ignored. Good observation, I replied quietly. You walk through my world. Alina, you were my fiancé, and I let you think I was nothing. But I see now you were never nothing. I nodded once, slow. I've always been something. You just refused to notice. She stepped closer, reaching out. Please, I made a mistake. Don't leave me. I didn't move. My silence stretched between us like a wall. I'm begging, she whispered, her voice cracking. I was wrong. I wanted control, and I lost the one person who could have been real with me. Don't walk away. I tilted my head, studying her face. The confidence that once belonged to her empire was gone, replaced by raw vulnerability. You wanted me weak, I said softly. You wanted me compliant? I gave you what you asked until I woke up. Her lips trembled. I can change. I'll do anything. I'll make it right. I don't need anything from you, I said. Not apologies. Not promises. Not love you never felt, she faltered. You're not angry? Anger is for those still holding on to illusions, I replied. I'm past that. You forgive me? I shook my head slowly. I don't forgive you. I simply don't need you anymore. Her eyes widened. Then why are you leaving? I stepped toward the door. Because I've been standing still for too long. I can't stay in a world where someone tried to own me. Tears ran down her cheeks. You don't understand. I see now I made a terrible mistake. I do understand, I said. And that's the point. You understand it too late, please? She whispered. Reaching for me one last time, I stopped at the threshold, turning to glance at her. This isn't about punishment. My absence, that's enough. Her hands dropped. Her lips parted as if trying to speak, but no words came. You'll realize, I said softly, how empty control is without respect. How cold your victories feel when the one person who mattered doesn't need you anymore. Her shoulders slumped. I never thought. I shook my head, faintly smiling. Exactly. Then I walked out. Step by step, my shoes on the polished floor echoed like a metronome, marking the rhythm of my freedom. Behind me, Alina stayed frozen, powerless, watching the man she dismissed, mocked, and underestimated leave her world. I didn't look back. Her confession, her tears, her pleas, they were irrelevant to me now. The empire she built, the control she wielded, all dissolved in my silence. Outside, the air felt sharp, clean. I inhaled deeply, tasting independence. For the first time, I felt the weight of her world lift from my shoulders, in my mind. I repeated the truth I'd discovered through every slight, every mockery, every moment I'd been pushed down. I am no one's puppet. No one owns me. And as I walked into the sunlight, leaving Alina and her regrets behind, the voice inside me whispered with satisfaction, "Your absence is my victory." I sat in my office, the city lights flickering outside like distant reminders of a world that no longer controlled me. "Mia," I said over the phone, "remember when I used to let everything slide?" She chuckled softly. "Yeah, you were kind." "Too kind? I was a fool," I admitted. "Or maybe I just didn't see myself yet." "You see yourself now?" "Every day," I said, smiling faintly. "Stronger, sharper. I finally learned what it means to matter to myself." There was a pause. "And Alina?" I laughed quietly. "Alina? She's learning too, though painfully." "What do you mean?" "She thought I was nothing," I said, voice low, but certain. "Now she knows I'm everything she feared." Mia was silent for a moment. "Do you feel guilty?" "Not for her," I said softly. "I mourned the man I used to be, not her. She built her empire, controlled everyone, and ignored the one person who mattered most to me." "I'm proud of you," she whispered. "You became more than anyone expected." "I didn't expect it either," I admitted. But I had to stop pretending. Stop living for someone else's story. I had to write my own. The office phone rang. I ignored it. Messages flashed across my screen, requests. Reminders the world I now controlled with quiet confidence. A shadow fell across my doorway. "You've changed," Alina said, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't look up. "Yes, I have." You walked away." "I did." You're no longer the man I knew." "Good," I said softly. "Because the man you knew was never mine to command." She trembled. I thought I'd always have you. You had what you asked for," I replied. "But it wasn't me. It was a version of me you could control. That version doesn't exist anymore." Her hands fell to her sides, empty, powerless. I underestimated you exactly." I finally met her eyes, calm, steady, and that's the difference. I never underestimated myself. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She turned and walked away, leaving me alone with the quiet hum of my life. Mia's voice came back on the phone. "You're finally free, yes," I said. "I am." I leaned back in my chair, closing my eyes. Every insult, every dismissal, every humiliation had led me here, and for the first time, I felt whole. "You know," I said softly, "it wasn't revenge that mattered. It was growth. It was learning to stand without anyone holding me up, to value myself and Alina." Mia asked. "She'll remember me," I said, smiling faintly. Not as someone she could control, not as the weak man she mocked, but as someone she feared. Without me lifting a hand, her voice was gentle. "You sound at peace." "I am," I said. "Finally, the man I used to be is gone. The man I am now is mine entirely." I stared out the window, city lights reflecting the calm in my chest. The world I walk in now belongs to me, and no one, not Alina, not Adrian, not anyone can take that away. In the silence I whispered, "She thought I was nothing." But I became everything she feared without even lifting a hand against her. And for the first time, I smiled not because of her downfall, but because of the man I finally became.